So I saw him a lot in his last days. Now, he had gotten sick and he was in the hospital, and I went down to see him in the hospital, and they said he wasn't doing very good and that they probably would have to call in hospice. But they didn't think that, he was going to be passing away, imminently. There was no signs that he was going to die that day. So I went home, and that was in the morning. And then that evening, I'm like, I am going back again to see him today. And I must. And I feel compelled that if I have to, I am going to spend the night there. Because I am not going to have this happen to me again and have the guilt that I should have been there. So I get to the hospital, and my parents and a couple other family members were there, and they had been there during the day, and he was stable. And since I came, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna go get something to eat." So they left the room, and I was in the room, and a medic came in to give him some sort of breathing treatment or something like that. And in the course of the breathing treatment, he let out this big, weird sound. And the medic was like, "Well, that's weird." And he started to be under distress. So I held my grandpa's hand. And as I held his hand, he died, with me holding his hand. And at that moment, it was both profound sadness, and it was also profound relief, and even a little bit of joy, because I was like, I could be there with him as he died.
Right.
So that guilt in that moment washed away, and it was like there was no way I was not going to be there for my last grandparent. And it just so happened that I just happened to be there. I just happened to be at his bedside when he died. And I got to be there to comfort him as he took his last breaths and passed away.
Now, all the relatives that went out to get something to eat, you made them feel guilty as hell, right?
Actually, my one aunt acted really pissed because, and afterwards, without getting into it, because she knew that we were close, and she had to let me know, I was the favorite, meaning her. I'm like,
oh boy, there we go.
I just love my grandpa.
Now we're getting into some.
Oh, they were mad that it was me that was there.
Wow.
Now, that just is the surface of the family dysfunction. That's a whole nother story.
It happens, yeah.
It's just a whole nother story. But his hat, my last grandpa's hat, I don't know if you can see it. My last grandpa's hat sits behind me. This is his hat that he wore at the end. I mean, he had other hats, I'm sure, but he was a salesman for this company. So he wore it every day. And, again, when the family comes in and they're like splitting things up and stuff like that, I said, I only want one thing. I mean, I had relatives going in there, taking appliances and doing this and doing that, and taking his musical instruments, and didn't care who, just rushed in and got what they wanted. It was disgusting. I wanted one thing. I wanted his hat. Because that was the closest thing that I could have of his.
Yeah.
Because it was so personal. And everybody else is like, it's just a hat. So all you family members that got stuff from Grandma Grandpa's house, how much of their stuff do you still have left? Hopefully you do. But I got Grandpa's hat.
Or it's forgotten in the attic or something, right?
Yeah, so that's my story. It's not a scary story, but it is a strange. I wouldn't even necessarily call it a paranormal story, but what are the chances of all of those things happening the way they did? It's to me, it seems like more than just random chance. I
More
mean,
than just a coincidence.
feels like it.